Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors in Winston, Chester. Glad you're here this Friday morning. I know everyone's getting excited about a weekend coming up and all kind of fun things to do. So it's all, I've been thinking myself, I've just got so many fun things to do, but what's standing in the way? We're still doing work that we shouldn't have to be doing at this point in time, but we're still doing it anyway. I know a lot of y'all are too, so we're just going to keep pressing on. Our weather brought to us by Hayden Technical Center. High today 69, it may hit 70. Low's going to be 62, so you got about an 8-degree difference all day long. So it's going to be a really pretty day. Water temperature now. Remember, it was like 65 yesterday. Well, this morning it's 61. I told you it's going to drop again, but it dropped 4 degrees overnight, so that's interesting too. But this time of year, boom, 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 we get these what we call I call false springs. We get 3 or 4 days of this beautiful weather, and all of a sudden, boom, we get a cold front coming in, and some of the flowers are blooming and all that. But it's not springtime yet, so don't get too excited about that. River readings. Looking at the Apalachicola at Bluntstown. Now, it's just shooting up. It's at a 13.5. It's still high. It's still in the colored area right there, 13.5 foot and going up. The Choctaw at Caryville is high too. It's at 8 foot. That's high for the Choctaw at Caryville, 8.2 foot. And it rise a little bit today and drop out a little bit on Saturday. Now, the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're looking at 3:30 this morning, a low tide, and a high tide at 5:25 tonight. A good strong tide on Friday, February the 15th. Also really strong. Look at Saturday's tide. Look at it, real low in the morning, but it's just shooting up. A fine tide for this weekend in all of the base systems. And the marine forecast, southwest at about 5 to 10. It'll be a good weekend to be on the water. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We always take pride in some of the unique things we can do here on Panhandle Outdoors, and I share a lot of stuff from the viewers. And the viewers, y'all are the ones that what makes it interesting and fascinating. And this particular video, a little 54-second, coming from our buddy Mark Deaton down at Howard Creek. He sent this from Howard Creek, and this is down at a country store there. A neat place and all, but I'm going to talk our way through it now. Let's see. Here it is right here. They got some hogs down there, and you can see they're making themselves at home, and there's a pair of them right there, and they've been around a little bit, and people are starting to get used to them. But I want you to watch how this one starts rooting up at the top of the screen there. He's going to start rooting around a little bit, and that's how we call it old Piney Woods rooter, and that's how they get the acorns and everything out of the swamp. But they just do that naturally, then they just forage. But this is right here. Look at there. You're not going to see this on most TV shows, but you can see this on Panhandle Outdoors. He's got to go wash his face, and so they're just making themselves a home down there, and that's where my buddy's down at Howard Creek. Yeah. All right, thank you, Mark Dean, for getting that. Now also, this we're talking about magazines. I love to do magazines and all. This is Alabama Game and Fish, and I thought this was fascinating. I was looking at it last night, and it's not a very big. It's not a very thick magazine, but it covers all the Alabama fishing and all, and hunting, and turkey season coming up. And I enjoy reading it because, a lot of us sort of spend some time in Alabama and have kinfolks or friends that are telling us what's going on. And I was reading the article. I took down a couple of notes. Reading the article on bass fishing in Alabama, and one of the top spots. And this was by a fish biologist, and he was talking about Lake Eufaula. And he brought down some interesting comments and statistics. Now, that's not that far from us, and a lot of us go up in that area. He said out of the 10 top bass caught last year in the tournaments, 4 out of 10 came from Lake Eufaula. That's pretty strong. He also talked about when they do electroshocking, they go around all the lakes, Gunnersville and Smith Lake and all those lakes in Alabama, and they'll electroshock, and that's how they get the percentage of big bass and little bass and all that. He said it had the highest, Lake Eufaula had the highest percentage of big bass in any lake in Alabama. Now that's pretty strong right there. And they went on there, and just his bottom line, it just says they have a high. His quote was, "They have a high abundance of large bass." So I thought that was fascinating there too. Let's see. Let me see if I can get some of these pictures on here. I don't know, Jeff, if I can get this one on. Let's just go ahead and stay with this. I have a couple of other pictures I wanted to show y'all in this little segment here. Let me see. I want to show Ben Steele. I've given Ben a hard time because his wife Stacy been taking all the deer, and he got one this week. And here, Ben Steele. Wow! Thank you, Jesus. I have never hunted one particular deer so hard in my life. He's 6.5 years old, and he probably would not have lived. He would have died naturally this year. He's not the biggest deer in the woods, but very special to me. He's been my nemesis for a while now. Wow, what a morning! So you see that big buck right there, and here's another shot of it. That's a big deer, Ben. I'm so proud of you, Stacy. If y'all remember, I've been giving him a hard time because his wife Stacy has taken the last 2 or 3 big bucks in the family, and she'll just run up there and shoot one, and Ben he'll be scratching his head as to what happened and all. So, a good job, Ben Steele. I'm proud of you. I got a couple other pictures I want to show. I think we'll take a break. I'll come back and set those pictures up. Okay, welcome back. I do have the pictures set up now, so let's take a look at them. This has nothing to do with outdoors, but we're looking at a situation where a lot of young people are doing this. I'm telling my grandkids their vocation now needs to be, don't worry about being an engineer or doctor or whatever, just be a chiropractor, because you're going to have a lot of business in years to come. But this is just something we need to help our young people with, and keeping straight posture. I ran across this picture the other day. Ashlyn, she was. I just want you to see the joy the kids have in shooting archery. I want to encourage you to get young people to just shoot some archery. They just have a ball doing it. I know it's a little bit out of focus, but you see how much fun they have shooting archery. So, and Ashlyn's getting married soon. I didn't put this on Valentine's Day. I'm going to do it the day after because I didn't want y'all jumping on this. It's a Valentine's special for $500. We arrest you in front of your wife and release you on Tuesday. It includes a camping fee, a fishing license, tent, and beer. We come in full police uniforms and blue lights. I just saw that. I thought that was funny, but anyway, I didn't want to show it. And we're talking about the hurricanes and all. You see Cat 1, the top left-hand corner, Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4, and Cat 5, and I'm convinced we were in a Cat 5 when Michael hit us because it was that situation. And one more deer picture of Sentry Burkett. Sentry's a good hunter. He shot this nice buck. He said, I wasn't going to do a selfie, but didn't have nobody to take a picture of him, and I couldn't resist. The next biggest problem was how to get him in the truck by myself. So that's Sentry and his buck. I don't know how I got him in the truck, but he did. Now, this is a picture I ran across. I was just fascinated with this picture. And this is a river system. This is the basin, the drain basin of each major river system. And it's in colors. Of course, the big one right there in the middle of the country is the Mississippi River. All those creeks and rivers, the Ohio, the Missouri, and all them, they all flow into the Mississippi. And all that like pinkish color. And then it's just fascinating. This picture is just coming out. And then you get down into the southeast. I'm going to enlarge a little bit down in the southeast. You can see the green. I'm putting right there in the middle of the screen. The green part, that's the Apalachicola river system. It starts up there in North Georgia. I've been to where it comes out of the side of the mountain right there. And all those systems flow into it. And Blue's Alabama River. And then the rest of Florida, that on the coastline of Florida. Anybody want to guess that one is? On the blue, that's the St. Johns River system. It starts down at the bottom and flows up toward Jacksonville. One of the very few rivers that flow north. Then you have the Hillsborough on the bottom down there, and then the Swanee, sort of in the middle. You can pick out, and then way over in the Panhandle, you have the Choctawhatchee, and then the Escambia River. Those three. So starting at the Florida line, you have the Escambia River, then the Choctawhatchee River, and then the Apalachicola River system. So that's just a fascinating view, and I just thought y'all would appreciate that. I certainly appreciated it, so that's good. All right, now, what we have now coming up, we had this video coming up, a little 5-minute video, And again, like I say, I just enjoy so many things outdoors. One of my favorite things year after year is a simple thing of cutting firewood. And this year when Hurricane Michael came in, we of course had so many trees knocked down. And I usually go out to my property 25 miles away and cut firewood and bring it back. But it's been the opportunity has been a relished opportunity to get to them because the trees now beside the road and now they're picking them up and hauling them off. So I knew I better go ahead and do it. And I only had to go a couple hundred yards from my house and got a truckload of firewood, but I just wanted to share it with you. It's a good outdoor activity. It's great. It's a great physical work. It, to me, is mentally relaxing. It brings back some nostalgic feelings of doing this kind of stuff. And firewood can warm you a couple of times. It warms you while you're cutting it and loading it in the truck. It warms you when you're taking it from outside into the house, and then it warms you when you light it. So, we don't have that many days we can burn some fire. So I just wanted to share this with you. It's a great outdoor activity, burning some firewood. And we'll catch it. I want you to catch a view of me getting my firewood. So let's run this, Jeff. I know most of the videos now, we show all kinds of things. That's what I love about doing this show, is the variety of things we can show other than just hunting and fishing and camping, those kind of things. This morning, after the show, I came home, changed clothes, and I went to cut some firewood. But what's unique about this firewood is I cut it just right up the road here from all these downed trees. I've been watching them every day, looking at them every day since October the 11th. And I said, well, I need to cut that because it's good firewood. So I got this within half a mile from the house in one spot, really. I took, let me go and say something about this chainsaw, this Steel Farm Boss. I've had different chainsaws, but this is the best chainsaw I've ever had. The other chainsaws are good. This chainsaw is real good. And you can get them right there at Soul's, but it's a Farm Boss. And man, it just does a great job. But this, I just cut this load, and probably, I mean, it was laying there, so he just pop, 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 and load it up right side the road. So I encourage you to do that before they haul, because they're going to haul this away and burn it and send the pellets to Asia or somewhere, I don't know, but this is going to my fireplace here. Well, one of the fond memories I have, I'm going to talk about why all this ties in so special to me, just cutting wood. This old, what I call cat face. This is an old pine tree, and you can see right here the cuts on it, And what the old timers, they had these clay pots, and they would put them under here, and they would cut, and then all the rosin would drain into here, and then people would walk through the woods and just gather it and pour it in a big old pot that they carried with. Some people, some trees had metal. By that fact, here's an original piece of metal that had nailed into it, and cut. Each time they'd make a round, and when they finished draining it, they'd cut it again and come back another week or so later and just keep draining the big old trees. And that's a special part of our history. And what it did, it made, this was the inside, what we call the rosin was inside here, and it would drain out of there. And these are the splinters. And they come from, again, the old pine trees. These are the hearts of the pine trees. Some of the old timers made fence posts out of them. That's old fence posts. All this is my little lighter pile. We call it a lighter. And you can see, and when you cut it, I love cutting and love smelling it. Always wear your safety glasses. I didn't used to do this when I was younger, but I do it now. And all you got to do, okay, and you can see, tear that off right there. That's just good fat lighter. Now that's a fire starter, natural. And you can see with our splinters, you can see where we just sort of chop them up and make little pieces, and then you stack them up here. And these are fire starters. There's a big deal to my dad. We had to start a fire with one match, and we still talk about only using one match and get all this lighter started. So that was the deal there. So get a pile of it, and then you put your logs on top of that. Now I want you to look, this pile here is special also because this came out of my front yard. A big oak tree up there by the driveway, those 170 mile per hour wind just came through and it broke everything out of the middle of the tree. The tree is still standing, but everything just busted out of the middle where it was the weakest part. So all this, Walter and Mason all helped me cut it up, and this is that stack. I'll use this next winter, where it'll season for a year, and that's the seasoned wood we're talking about, green wood or seasoned wood. Now, the big thing about this, let me share something with you. I love the physically doing doing this kind of work, and it just makes me feel good physically. I thank God to have the physical health to do it. But I think the most important thing is the memories and the nostalgic feelings I get every time I do this. When I smell that splinter and all, that smell reminds me of going to my grandma and granddad's house, and they're on the heat back then when they just had a fireplace, and granddad would cut that and bring it inside to start that fire. And then I remember later on, growing up, we cut firewood with my dad, my brother, and myself. The three of us would always go to the woods, usually in the fall or at the end of hunting season, and cut firewood. And I've done that my whole life. It just brings back so many warm memories of just the three of us. We'd have breakfast. We would go there for a couple of hours in the morning and load it up in the truck. And they're all gone now, but I still have it. When I go to the woods, it's just special. I just love going out in the woods and cutting firewood. Now it's in the hunting season now, and it's just real special to me to do that. And I just wanted to share those feelings with you, and I hope you have some feelings of your brothers and uncles and aunts and sisters and all that are doing family things in the outdoors like I cherish. So for Panhandle Outdoors, I'm Winston Chester, and I hope you enjoyed this little piece. Okay, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. It's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed doing it, and hopefully I can do that every year, either in the end of hunting season or in the fall. And you're talking about green wood and dry wood and all, so you want the wood to dry out a little bit. Okay, now, I bet you thought I forgot about doing a drawing on Friday, but I have not. Carbon Rock Seafood. All right, here we go. The first name we're going to pick out, this is for a $20 gift certificate. We get a nice email from you folks that go down there. Rodney Johnson from Conard, up there in Conard. Okay, Rodney, he won that one. And the big red snapper, which would be good this time of year. Donald Borges from Santa Rosa Beach. So Conard and Santa Rosa Beach. We've got viewers all over, and we appreciate it. So let's get started with our fishing forecast for the weekend. And it comes off the reports we get. And the first report I'm going to read, our correspondent over at Choctawhatchee in the Choctawhatchee Bay, Choctawhatchee River system, Larry Brown, lives over there at Bunker, and he and his wife just have they do a lot of fishing. He's right on top of things over there and gives me a report on a regular basis. I'm just going to read it. It said, this weekend was fun, but didn't put anything in the cooler. He picked up 4 trout, but only one large enough to keep. It was 15.5 inches, and so skinny I let it go. So later, I found a hole that was kind of loaded with reds. Loads of fun, but out of 17 fish, only had one that was 17 inches. And that brings me to what I want to talk about today, is catching fish in a hole. And it's freshwater or saltwater, you can find them in a hole. And it's fascinating if you look back on your fishing experiences on what happens. To go along with this report, I got a good report from Joe Aiello about catching some speckled trout. He found some in a hole in Grand Lagoon. And we'll talk about the speckled trout now, particularly this time of year. I'll keep the speckled trout up here. I told Jeff I'm going to put redfish up here pretty soon, but I like having speckled trout on there. And anyway, but my point is, they're going to software update me or something. It's amazing they can do that, isn't it? So anyway, but the fishing in a hole, let me just talk, Jeff. Fishing in a hole, because we know what the map looks like, don't we? A couple of things to keep in mind about it. Once you find them, keep a distance from that hole. Okay, you don't want to spook them. Again, I remember as a kid, and we had a wooden boat, and they'd hit a stump and boom, or me and my brother would be moving around and drop something in the boat and boom, and he'd just look at us, and we know better. And he didn't get onto it, but he just sort of shake his head. So noise, fish can hear. So keep that in mind. They can hear you, and they can respond to that. So this weekend, what you want to look for the holes for the speckled trout and the redfish. Right there, you got a report from Choctawhatchee River I'm giving you, and a report from the Grand Lagoon area on speckled trout and redfish, and doing the same situation there. And so try to keep moving around. And a lot of people, look at that trout tournament last weekend. 23 boats, 1 trout out of Burnt Mill Creek. Obviously, they didn't find the hole. So what you got to do over in the Apalachicola Bay, If you're not in a boat or anything, if you're going to catch them from the bridge, we'll talk about fishing the bridge this weekend. Sheephead fishing will be excellent. I can promise you, off the little bridge there, coming out of East Point, it's going to be good. At the rocks, at the jetties, at the state park, you can come in. The state park's open. You can walk out there, get on the rocks, and catch some sheephead. You don't necessarily have to have a boat to go fishing. We haven't had any reports of speckled trout yet. The report from the pier, it's been slow again this week. But with that water temperature going up to 65, then going back down, and what it's going to do, it's going to come up and down, but it's going to gradually keep up. And remember, I used to do a graph. I probably need to get back doing it. I used to do a graph of the water temperature. It was just fascinating watching it. So keep that in mind too. So freshwater fishing, bass fishing, they're up in the sand hills again. The sand hills been strong. Lake Tarquin been strong. The crappie tournament they had last weekend went really well. Really good bass fishing all around. I don't know if they started Tuesday night shootout back at Deer Point Lake. I'll try to find that out for you and keep you posted on it. But bass fishing is going to be excellent. Haven't talked to sea quarters. Again, the water's high everywhere, still high. It's high coming out of Tate's Hell. It's high coming down the Apalachicola and the Choctaw River. So you got fish with high water. Again, catfishing is going to be good any time now. Below the Jim Woodruff Dam there in Chattahoochee, they're not schooling yet, but the catfish is going to be up in there. And all the Howard Creek, we're talking about Howard Creek fishing, it's going to be good there, coming out of all those places out of Weeball, Abercrombie Landing, coming out of Apalachicola, where Bill Allen and I go a lot. That fishing should be getting good. Now the water has been real muddy and dirty the last month or so, but it should be getting good now. Now keep in mind, locally here, if I was going to fish this weekend, and I may, the Deer Point Dam. You got to remember that fresh water coming over, there's a lot of freshwater fish right on the backside of the dam. So take some shrimp up there, take some wigglers, take anything. You're going to be catching redfish, you're going to be catching brim, you're going to be catching catfish, be catching all kinds of things. So I got to get out of here. Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Do something good today for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.